Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to keep making horror stories. Thank you very much. Let's start the story.
Years after Fiona Hartley's courageous encounter and the freeing of Lord William Ravenscroft's spirit, Canterville Chase had gained a reputation as a place of deep historical intrigue rather than a haunted manor. However, not all spirits had found peace, and the mansion's dark history was far from over. The estate was purchased by the Harpers, a family keen on restoring its former glory. John Harper, his wife Emily, and their two children, Alex and Sophie, moved into the manor with great excitement. Emily, an interior designer, saw the mansion as a project of a lifetime, while John, a history professor, was captivated by its rich past. Alex, 18, and Sophie, 15, were less enthused but willing to support their parents' dream. From the moment they moved in, Sophie felt a strange connection to the house. Unlike her brother, who spent his time exploring the grounds, Sophie was drawn to the old library. There, she discovered a book hidden behind a row of dusty tomes. The leather-bound volume, titled The Chronicles of Canterville, contained stories and legends about the estate, including accounts of the Otis family, the Mortons, and Fiona Hartley's brave encounter with the Watcher. As Sophie delved deeper into the book, she found references to another spirit, one that was not as benign as Sir Simon or Lord Ravenscroft. This spirit was described as a dark guardian, an entity bound to the mansion by a powerful and malevolent force. Intrigued and slightly unnerved, Sophie decided to investigate further. One night, as the rest of the family slept, Sophie snuck down to the cellar, following the descriptions in the book. She found the hidden passage and the small, dark room with the ornate mirror. Remembering Fiona's encounter, Sophie approached the mirror cautiously. To her surprise, her reflection remained unchanged, and no shadowy figure appeared. Disappointed, Sophie turned to leave, but a chilling voice echoed through the room. "You shouldn't be here." She spun around, heart pounding, to see a figure materializing in the mirror. This spirit was different from the others. Its presence was oppressive, and its eyes glowed with a malevolent light. "Who are you?" Sophie demanded, trying to keep her voice steady. The spirit's voice was cold and mocking. "I am the guardian of Canterville Chase, bound here by a curse older than you can comprehend." Sophie felt a surge of defiance. "What do you want?" The spirit laughed, a sound that sent shivers down Sophie's spine. "I want what was taken from me, the power to control this place and all who dwell within it." Sophie realized that this spirit was more dangerous than any she had read about. Determined to protect her family, she knew she had to find a way to banish the Dark Guardian. The Chronicles of Canterville mentioned an ancient ritual that could sever the spirit's connection to the mansion. The ritual required a combination of elements: fire, water, earth, and air, along with a personal sacrifice from the one performing it. Sophie gathered the necessary items: a candle for fire, a bowl of water, soil from the garden, and a feather from an old pillow for air. She returned to the cellar and prepared the ritual, following the instructions in the book. As she lit the candle and began the incantation, the room grew colder, and the spirit's presence became more palpable. "You cannot defeat me," the spirit hissed. "I am eternal." Ignoring the taunts, Sophie continued the ritual. The candle's flame flickered, the water in the bowl rippled, and the air around her swirled. She felt a strange energy building up, almost overwhelming in its intensity. As she reached the final part of the incantation, the spirit lunged at her, its form becoming more solid. Sophie, despite her fear, completed the ritual, speaking the final words with all her strength. The candle flame flared brightly, the water splashed, and a gust of wind swept through the room. The spirit screamed, a sound of pure rage and agony. Its form began to dissolve, pulled into the mirror by an unseen force. Sophie watched in awe and terror as the Dark Guardian was sucked into the mirror, which then cracked and shattered, leaving nothing but a pile of glass shards. Exhausted and shaken, Sophie slumped to the floor. She had done it. The Dark Guardian was gone, and Canterville Chase was finally free from its malevolent influence. The next morning, she told her family everything. At first, they were skeptical, but the shattered mirror and the eerie calm that had settled over the manor convinced them. John, fascinated by the historical and supernatural significance of Sophie's experience, began documenting the event. Life at Canterville Chase gradually returned to normal. Emily continued her restoration work, breathing new life into the ancient halls. John immersed himself in his research, now with a personal connection to the manor's history. Alex, though initially uninterested, found a newfound respect for his sister's bravery. Sophie, however, remained deeply affected by her encounter. She felt a connection to the spirits of Canterville Chase and spent her free time studying the manor's history, hoping to uncover more secrets. She became a local legend in her own right, known as the girl who finally freed Canterville Chase from its darkest curse. The story of Canterville Chase became a tale of redemption and courage, with each generation leaving their mark on the mansion's storied past. The Harper's chapter added a final note of victory over the malevolent forces that once plagued the manor. The legend of the Canterville Ghost had come to an end, but the spirit of the place, now one of peace and history, lived on. Sophie knew that while the ghosts of Canterville Chase had been laid to rest, the history of the manor would continue to captivate and inspire those who came after her. And she was ready to guide them, sharing her story and the lessons she had learned from the spirits of Canterville Chase.